Hello everyone. Welcome to the session. And myself is Kiran Kumar, and I'll be leading the at BPM practice in Royal Cyber. So let me just brief you what we are going to discuss today. So today we'll be starting with the little fundamentals of the Agile process, and then we will discuss about Pega and what are the benefits and how it is going to help your business agility to build a best Pega BPM product, and what is the advantages over the other BPM tools we have in the market. And finally, so we will be touching upon the Pega new development, a tool called Pega Agile Workbench. We will discuss a little bit about that product and how it is beneficial for the customers. Okay, so let's start with the first slide, that is Agile Manifesto. This will just give the what is the statement of values and how it is different from the Agile process is different from the Agile traditional process what we have. So the main focus when we start talk about Agile is it prefers individuals and interactions over the processes and tools what we traditionally followed for other methodologies like SDLC and waterfall models. So this is Agile mostly focuses on the individuals and the interactions within the team and deliver the products as a team instead of focusing more on the like processes and tools what we are using. And also it prefers a working software to be developed in chunks rather than depending on the comprehensive documentation. And also one more thing is the customer collaboration is most preferable in Agile process than spending more time on the contract negotiation. And also, so it mainly focuses on how quickly we are responding to the change rather than preparing a plan, coming up with the plans, and then delivering a full-fledged product at the end, and the user sees that if there is any change required, and then you have to go through the change request process. Rather than the Agile focuses mostly on delivering the products in cycles so that we can get the user feedback immediately and then improve the product and then deliver the final product, which is working software to the customer frequently. So moving on to the next slide, this will give you a brief introduction of how the Agile framework works in Agile methodology. So the picture will give you a glance of how the process works. So it's actually, as I told you, right? So the Scrum project mainly it is a time box iterative periods, and it is called sprint. We call it as sprints, and typically the sprint will be for 2 to 4 weeks. So initially the user will have business user or business analyst will come up with the product backlog, which will contain the components called user stories. So once we have a product backlog, we will go through the sprint planning and we will do the refinement of the stories, and then we will come up with sprint backlog from which the team will pick up the stories and then start developing the stories. And this is where the iteration process starts. So once your developer takes the story and then builds the story, once the story is completed, then we will be giving demo to the product owners and the stakeholders, and then we will get the feedback from them. And if there is any changes required, again, we'll iterate the cycle again until we get the final approval from the customer. So in this way, instead of you delivering, a big chunk of code at the end of the project deliverables, and then again customer has to review it and then gives the feedback, again you have to go through the change request process. So instead of that, as we are delivering an incremental process, the customer will be seeing the working product instead of the failed product at the end of the project, which has some issues, or it takes more time also for the business users to the end product. So once we deliver process is done, then we will have the reviews and retrospectives to understand how we are following the process. So this is just an introduction of how the Scrum framework works. And So by following that, what we are going to get is the continuous process improvement. That is what the client expects, and that is the main focus that will improve the client and employee experience and productivity with a low risk and also low cost of the product. And also it will deliver the benefits that are measurable and sustainable. So the main CPA benefits is client loyalty and reduced waste and lower risk and scalability. Okay, so that's a little bit introduction about the Agile and Scrum process. Now we will go through how the Pega system is going to help your business agility and how what are the benefits with Pega going with Pega systems BPM tool. Okay, so the basic advantages I just listed few the basic main core features of the Pega. It's the to start with directly executable business requirements. What it means is, so in Pega tool, unlike the other tools, the business users will have a chance to create the processes. They can build the processes, which will in turn get converted into the application and with the minimal code changes from the developers. So from the starting of the business requirements, we will be involving the business users with the tools which are available in Pega, so that the business users and business analysts can see the process, how it is building and how it is processing. Okay. And the next one is unified policies and procedures. That's what we call it as rules and processes. The way we build the rules and processes in Pega, that will eliminate the manual intervention and then minimal code, and the integration of changes will be quicker. The next one is the multi-circumstance rule resolution. So this is the rule selection is based on the multiple data values in Pega, such as the customer's product, channels, and business unit, and if the customer is in different geographical locations. So these are all can be well managed in Pega with the rule resolution. And the next thing is flexibility and scale of deployment. So from development to the deployment, the ride will be very smooth in Pega because the UI is more sophisticated. So the development and deployment will be more faster in Pega. And the next one is the best intent-driven user experience. So the UI is one of the major advantages of Pega. So the content will be clear, and then the whatever the content we are building, it will be suitable for the task which we are working on for the business need. And the last one is it has a sophisticated rule-driven process automation to optimize the full workflow life cycle. So if you take so in Pega, they call it as 6 R's. That is receive, how you receive your work. Should be automated. Like you might get your work from the emails, from the phone calls, from the fax, or from the batch processes. So everything you can automate in Pega. So the second one is route. So once in the business process, so when you are working on a product, so if you are building a process, right? So it requires to route the work based on your skills, based on you might be routing the work to your managers, to the users, to the supervisors based on your needs. So it should be more smoother and easy to manage. So you can route it to a specific user or group of users based on the accesses, or you can define a approval matrix and then route your work based on the approval matrix as well in Pega. The next one is reports. So when you are building any product, the managers are based on the accesses roles you have. So the users wants to see the reports that can be from the data can be collected from the external system, or it can be related to the work which you are building in your product. So that reports, and also you can give the build specific reports based on the access they have in our system. That is also one of the advantage. And research, like when you are working in a product, you might need to integrate with some other systems for the data analysis or to get the data for the decision making. That is also automated. And how well you respond, you provide the response to the work items you are working on. Like you might need to send the statuses to multiple stakeholders about the work object which you are working on. So that also can be automated in Pega. And the last one is the resolve. So whenever you resolve the work, so you need to communicate to the different work parties, and also you might need to give that information to the downstream systems for the system of record. Okay, this is how that is what they call is a build for change in Pega. These are the key elements. So moving on to the next slide. So from Pega 7 on, earlier Pega also used to have different third-party tools. So from Pega 7 onwards, Pega 7 is nothing but the latest version in Pega. So Pega will be changing the versions every 3 months. They will be releasing minor changes, and every 1.5 year, they will be releasing a major version. So for each version, they are trying to make the product better. So in 7 onwards, it is implemented a unified architecture. So unlike the other traditional BPM tools, other tools in market, all the developer tools and the administrator tools, what you are working on Pega, including the case management and designer studio, everything is Pega built application. So when you purchase a Pega product, so everything will come together as a single product for your business. So you don't have to go with another tool for the DCO or another tool for the case management or another tool for the integrations. You can build, there are a lot of features available in Pega itself where it comes as a single product. Okay. So this is just a little introduction about Pega Suite. Okay. Currently, this is a leading provider for the inter-class business process management solutions because Pega understands their customers and then delivers the key business objectives efficiently, flexibly, and quickly. So it has a lot of inbuilt tools where you don't have to depend on other third-party tools. Okay, and it is very easy to integrate if you are using any other infrastructures, right? It is very easy to integrate, and it is packaged with industry-specific solution framework. Like if you are into healthcare, they have a specific framework for that. For financial services, they have the different framework, and telecommunications, insurance, government, and many more framework they have already built. So if you are in that service, so if you want to build your product, it will be easy for you to get the framework and then just customize the rules based on your business rules. That will accelerate the application creation and the modifications required for your business. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So this will give you overall of what all the Pega benefits based on the stakeholders, like the business. As I told you earlier, so we will be involving the business from the requirements phase itself. So they are in line with the requirements, they know what is going on in the system. So the main thing they look for is build for change. Like they want to respond to the business changes very quickly. So that because of Pega, so as the changes can be done 6.4 times faster than the traditional Java development, like Java, .NET, traditional tools, what it can deliver 6.4 times faster. And if you want to build the changes for the existing products, it will be 8 times faster compared to the other tools. Okay, and if you take the customers, right, so they need this smooth, best performance and best UI experience as a customer. So, and you need a best product which is responding quickly for your changes. And coming to the CSRs, so for the customer service representatives, so Pega, they came up with a tool called RPA. So that is a robotic process automation tool. And also the good thing is that comes along with the Pega. You don't have to buy another tool to process your robotic processings. So that is also coming along with the tool. So it will be more useful based on your business scenarios. You can use that for your customer service representatives. And coming to the IT department, so the high productivity environment enables them to work faster and then to deliver the product very fast. So you can have your Pega built in premise, or you can go with the cloud as well. So based on that, so the IT department will be in touch with the Pega support and to get the things done for you. So moving on to the next slide. So this couple of slides will focus on the advantages and how quickly you can, how the Pega product has, as I told you, right, it's a collection of all the products where you don't have to integrate with some other tools. So we will go through one by one and then see what all the advantages we have. If you go as a product, if you take the Pega as a BPM tool, what are the tools you can get as part of that itself, where you don't need to purchase any other third-party tools. Okay, so building an application, right? So it can be a simple or complex. It is pretty model driven, and it has a unified approach delivers an enterprise grade Agile application with no code authorizing experience. As I told you, it's mostly UI driven, and you can even the business users can start building the processes, which the tool will obviously convert in the back end into the application. Okay, so the first thing is low code application development. As I told you, the coding part is very minimal as the product is already self-sufficient to cover all the business needs which are required for the typical business processing. Okay, and also it uses the visual models and Agile methodology to build apps that are always up to date and easy to change and manage. And the deployment process is also very seamless. And as it is open architecture, and if you have any other if you are integrating with any other applications, it will be pretty easy and quick to integrate with any of the third-party applications. And coming to the UI is like, one of the best in the market we have in the BPM product. So the UI is like, if you have the user can seamlessly work on different products, like, they can access your application without much changes. They can access in mobile, they can access in laptops or desktop, whatever the medium they have. And the next thing is continuous delivery. So as I told you, it's a no code and model driven approach. So which will give you the easier development process that will eliminate time gaps between the product building. That is for the build part. That's for the application development. So the next one is automate. So the more automation you have for your processes, the more quicker you can build your product, and then you can go with the changes required for your business. Okay, so to achieve that, the first thing is case management. As I told you, the case management, the business users and business analysts can start building the processes and stages. They can visually see what is the process they want to build, and then they can integrate with the lead system architect to come with all the processes and stages required for this business. That will eventually get converted into application by the product itself. And the next one is robotic automation. As I told you recently, Pega has bought a third-party tool called OpenSpan. So because of which, so they were able to build a tool called RPA, robotic process automation. And the good thing is that will come along with your Pega product. You don't have to buy another third-party tool for that. It is inbuilt in Pega itself. And the next one is workforce intelligence. So if you want to get into which areas of your organization is most vulnerable, so you can use the workforce intelligence in Pega so that you can better judge what are the vulnerables you have in your organization. Okay, so the next one is how best you can engage your customers. Like, the customer always prefers the rapid change in the technology, and they want to use the AI capabilities and what is coming in the market, right? So you can build the applications in a Pega application, and then you can use them in mobile very faster. It will be very fast to build, and either you can build it for your mobile applications, or you have an option where you can incorporate the Pega application as a gadget in any of your open source applications. So that's what they call it as mashup. you can always access from other like .NET or any other portal you have. You can embed Pega as a gadget into your application with Mashup and then start using it. And next one is intelligent virtual assistant. So they have a intelligent bot which don't again requires any integration. It is part of the Pega product itself, which is intelligent virtual assistant that will take advantage of existing processes and data to ensure you are not creating any technical silos in your application. So the other one is decision management. So this is this is like so most of us will be talking about artificial intelligence, predictive models, and analytical models. And it will be very tough to develop the statistical models in AI. So the Pega came up with a solution and they developed the Pega engine in such a way that if you go with the decision management, so it will create its own statistical models based on the predictive analytics they have built. On top of it, it can apply the business rules as well as per your business, and then they can come up with the best actions which is required for the business. Like if you take any mobile application or if you take any mobile the carriers like AT&T, so what they will do is once the customer calls, the customer representative has to identify so what is the next action, next best action I can provide to the customer, so that either I can retain the customer or we can provide more services to the customer. So I think in this scenarios, like if your business needs some scenarios like this, so you can very well implement the decision management. And again, it is part of your single product itself. You don't have to integrate with any other services for this. Okay. So moving on to next slide. So it will just give some highlights of Pega systems compared to other competitors in this space. So this was conducted in December 2007, and they have considered 6 use cases. One is digitalized process, case management, business transformation, composite of intelligent process-centric apps, continuous process improvement, and citizen developer application composition. So in all of this, the average which Pega system has got is 4.26, which is on top of all the competitors they have. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. So we discussed about a little bit about the agile process and also Pega. And now, to be successful in any agile BPM technology, these are the key elements. One is continuous improvement and business idea alignment, collaboration, and feedback. So we will see how, as we already discussed, we have tools in Pega inbuilt tools which will help us to achieve this. So first thing is planning phase. Planning phase, as I told you, we will involve the customer, business users, and business analysts from planning itself. So we have tools called case management, DCO tools, where the users can start seeing the processes, they can build the process, and then see how the process is looking like, and then they can easily know what is going on in the system, at least on an overall basis, how the process is looking, how the flow is going. As whether it is as per the requirements or not, they can judge then and there itself. And the second process in the Agile is iteration process. It's like the processes, rules, and UI integration parts what we have. So we will be building the faster and faster product. And also they have one more good feature in Pega where the feedback can be given by the users instantly. Okay, so they have a feedback system also, which is again part of the Pega, that they can any user can give the feedback at any point of time. And the collaboration by using we can integrate with the social media like Facebook or chatbots, and you can use your own chatbots and integrate with them. That's how the people can collaborate in the team, or you can collaborate with the customers as well. So this is how it will align with the processes, how it is the Pega can help you to align your business Agile BPM technology to be in line with your business goals. So moving on to the next slide. So we talked about Agile and also we talked about Pega. So now Pega has came up with another tool, which is again part of the product. You don't have to go with the another third-party tool. So that is called Agile Workbench. So this will enable the business users to give feedback, or they can report a bug from the UI itself by just pinning a digital note. And they can record it as a text, and then they can put a video, or they can record their voice, and or they can provide the screenshot directly in the application where your application is running, so that now you have the continuous interaction, and the development team quickly knows what are the issues they have and how they can correct them. And this Pega Agile Workbench you can integrate with any of your existing project management tools like CA Agile Central or Zira. Apart from that, Pega also has their own tool that is called Pega Agile Studio. So if you use that, that's again part of the product itself. You don't have to go with any other third-party tools. So you can very well, if you go with the Pega BPM contract, so they will give everything as part of that contract itself. That will, in this way, so that you don't have to even, let's say customer is facing some issues, they don't have to call anyone, or he don't has to go to some other tool where he can log the issues, or he can send out an email. You can very well pin on the UI itself and then give the feedback immediately, so that the gap between the users, business users, and the development team will be drastically reduced. Okay. And coming to the next slide. So the advantage of going with the Pega Agile Workbench, what are the benefits? As I told you, it's like real-time collaboration with your business users. You don't have any gaps in between the communication wise. There is no gap. You are not using any information in between, as they are directly giving the feedback in the tool itself. And the next thing is obviously the empower continuous collaboration. It could be your team, it could be your stakeholders, it could be your users, it could be your business team, it could be your testing team. So even you can build your own test suite within Pega itself. And obviously that will bring the openness throughout all the stakeholders. And also it will very well help to deliver the minimum lovable product. You don't have any communication gaps in between, as you are getting the instant feedback from the users. You can very well develop your application, and then you can control, you can minimize the gaps in the development. Okay. And moving on, just this will brief you about the Agile Studio, how it looks like in Pega. So it has typical Pega dashboard where you can see all your backlogs, teams, and product. Each product will have their own terminologies, and in Pega Agile Studio, so also they have you can manage your products, releases, you can define your goals, you can write the epics, and then you can come up with the backlogs, and you can define your project team, and you can assign the team members to your project. And then you can come up with the sprints, and then you have back feedback, what you are getting. It will get logged into this feedback that can either get converted into bugs or user stories after the refinement on grooming with your team. And then you can manage the resources and then work baskets. It's like access part to whom you want to give the access in your team. And so this is what you can, this is from the dashboard side, and the second screen talks about what all the things you can create in your Agile Studio. So as I told you, you can create your own team and then assign what sprint they can have access to, and you can define your sprints. It's like in each segment you'll have, you can add them, you can delete, you can modify, you can give some access to them, and you can close them, you can modify the status of it, you can update it anytime. It's like you don't have to go to another tool again, log into it, and then see the status and then modify the status. As and when you are done with your development, and then if you have any feedback, you can directly switch to your Agile Studio portal, and then update your status over there, and then it's done. The transition will be very smoothless, so that even you don't feel like you're traveling through different tools to get your work done. That is the main advantage of Pega, as they call it as unified software architecture. So as well, you can create the products, releases, goals, and you can create the epics, backlogs, user stories, tags, issues, and bugs, and then you can always provide the feedback. And these are the different case types you can create for the different work items in the product. Okay, this is just a glance of how the Agile Studio looks like. So you can very well take the advantage of Pega Agile Workbench. Either you can go with their inbuilt Agile Studio, or you can go with any other tools like Jira or CA Central, and you can integrate with them very seamlessly, as they have one of the sophisticated integrations. They have, like, they can use this connect soaps, connect REST, whatever the integration you need. So moving on to next slide. So this is just, briefly describes what are the benefits you can obtain with Agile, and you can very well, see the, because of the products, such a way the Pega is developed, you can very well see most of these advantages you can get from the Pega BPM as well. So if you see, as Agile mostly focuses on the people, collaboration, and shared values and beliefs, these are the main advantages by implementing the Agile process. Same advantages you can get if you implement your PPM tool in Pega as well. So the first thing is manage the changing priorities will be 81% more compared to the other traditional methodologies. And accelerate time to market is 75%, increase productivity by 74%, enhance software quality by 66%, and better IT alignment and business by 65%. And project visibility is 62% more, and reduce risks by 59%, and the simplified development process by 53%. So these are the overall advantages if you want to go with the Agile, and you can very well interrelate with going with Pega BPM. So that's all I have for this. Briefly, we discussed about the Agile process and Scrum process, and what are the advantages with Pega, and how you can very well take the advantage of unified architecture and the latest Pega development of Pega Agile Workbench. Thank you so much.